Man, good morning, good morning, good morning. As usual, it's always great to be able to hang out with you and spend some time on this, the best day of the week. That's my claim every week, right? It's hump day, man. It's the middle of the week, and this is a time when, regardless of how the week started for you, for us, we've made it to the middle of the week. We've made it, and we just need to keep on pushing to get over the hump and finish the week strong. So, congratulations for doing that. Excited to spend some time with you. So, look, here we are. It's January 26th, right? It's a week past what they call Quitter's Day. What's Quitter's Day? I don't know if you've ever heard the term before. Um, that's the day. Some people say it's January 15th, but that's the day when most people would have quit on their New Year's resolution, right? You know how we start out the year full of hope and enthusiasm, and we set all these resolutions, all these things that we want to have accomplished, and completely change our lives throughout the year, and then yeah, by that third week or so of January, yeah, they're kind of out of the window. I read uh, a, a, about a study that was done back in 2019, actually, and they looked at 800 million logged activities. So people are actually writing these things on, logging them, 800 million pieces. So it's a rather extensive study. And what they found in that study was that, yep, by Quitter's Day, January 19th, a week ago, most people would have quit. Most people would have given up, abandoned their New Year's resolution. And so I'm kind of wondering, man, because last time we spoke, I've been on the road, so I wasn't able to be on last week. But last time we spoke about this idea of goals, right? And setting smart goals. The fact that, yeah, while it is better than nothing to have New Year's resolutions, the best way forward is to have goals, right? Because resolutions just kind of go by the wayside, as we said, by Quitter's Day. But goals, I think, are a little bit more concrete and long term, and they demand your attention and your focus, and they get you to focus more. So how are you doing? It's January 26th. How are you doing thus far this year? I think it's really important, which is what I want to talk about this morning, this idea of evaluating your goals, assessing your progress as you get the year started, right? And you're working towards your goals. It's really important to evaluate and assess them. Why? Well, because measuring your goals really reveal how close you are to accomplishing them. Make sense, right? If you're not taking the time out to look at how you're doing, how will you know how close you are, right? It also helps you to understand what types of actions contribute to your progress, and which methods are most effective. If you're not, again, taking the time out to see how things are going, and evaluate, assess the things that you're doing and the results you're getting from the actions that you're taking, how are you going to know if you're moving towards your goals, or are you just spinning your wheels, perhaps even moving back, right? So you have to you have to evaluate, assess. You have to check in on the progress of your goals, because one of the things that it does too, is that it motivates you. When you're checking on your progress and you realize, man, I'm moving forward, that is a, an injection of energy into your system, right? But it also helps you to catch yourself, because maybe you're slacking off. Maybe you're not doing what you're supposed to do, or maybe you are working hard, in fact. But as I said earlier, you get to evaluate the actions that you're taking, right? So maybe you are actually putting in the work, but then in your evaluation, you realize, you know what, man, I need to change course a little bit because it's not getting me to where I want to go. So this morning, I want to quickly, it's a quick one this morning. I want to share 4 ideas on how I think you can, and 4 ideas that I think will help you in assessing or evaluating your progress towards your goals, right? Those are the important things. So if you had New Year's resolutions that you have perhaps forgotten about, thrown out the window, yeah, let's take some time, set some goals, and then once you've done that, you have to evaluate them. The fact that you have goals, and if you're setting them properly, means that there are things that you can assess, you can evaluate, you can measure constantly. So or consistently. So again, for my friends on Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube, I have a slide these days. My friends on Instagram, greetings. You're just gonna have to kind of listen in. So the first thing is that you have to track your movement. The first thing I want to share is that you have to track your movement towards your goals. There are two basic kinds of goals. There are what you call outcome goals, and those are represent something that you're striving for. Maybe the easiest one example is like weight, right? Maybe you're striving to reach a certain weight. Maybe you're striving to get a promotion on the job. Maybe you're striving to purchase a car or purchase a house. Those would be the outcome goals, right? It's a specific thing that you're doing. And then there are what you call process goals. Process goals are those are the measurable actions that you take that will lead you towards your outcome goals. So you have to be able to track the movement and your progress towards those goals. What I know is that many of us operate under the assumption that the more you work is the more progress you're making. I don't know. Does that strike a bell with you? Does it ring a bell with you? Does it sound familiar, right? Like you just think that, man, if I just keep working hard and harder and harder and longer, then I'm making progress. But is that really true? Is that really true? I mean, how far do you think a hamster gets by running at 100 miles an hour on that little wheel, right? He or she isn't getting very far as hard as he's working, right? So just being busy and stressed and all of that doesn't necessarily mean that you're getting anything done. It just means that you're active. It just means that you're busy. Activity doesn't readily translate into progress, right? We need to track how far we are from our goals and whether or not we're closing that gap, right? And so that's the first step. So for example, you have this weight loss goal, or whatever weight, maybe weight gain. You have a certain weight that you like to achieve. And the question is, that's the outcome goal. What would be the process? How do you track that? Well, maybe the plan is to go to the gym four times a week. So are you doing that? So that's one that's right off the bat you can try. No, I'm only going 2 times a week. So you're kind of falling behind because you're not getting to the gym to go do that workout to lose the weight, or going to the gym to do that workout to put on the muscle to gain the weight, right? Maybe you are a salesperson and you have a goal to make 50 calls a week, let's say, and you sent out 200 emails. Well, it's great that you're sending out 200 emails, but you haven't made those 50 calls, right? Or maybe you have a goal of closing a sale a week. Let's choose a really easy goal. But all you've done is the 50 calls. So you're not on track to achieve your goals because you have not closed a sale. So that's the difference. So you have to track your progress. The next thing you have to do, friends, is that you have to focus on the gain. And by that I mean you have to look at how not necessarily how close you are to achieving the goals, but how far away are you from your starting point? Wherever that starting point for you is, whatever it represents, are you making progress? In other words, have you made up any ground between that gap between where you start and where your goal is? And that's really important because sometimes we get so frustrated, right? Again, we want to lose 20 pounds and we go, oh my God, it's so far away. But did you make progress? Having gone through the process of going to the gym 4 times a week as you're supposed to? Now, the next question is, did you lose any weight or did you gain any weight, depending on what your goal is? My friends on Instagram won't be able to see this graphic, but let me share this on the screen here. Right. So, yeah, just to reiterate what I just said, you have your starting point, you have your end point, that ideal, right, which is what your goals represent, that ideal place that you like to be. As you are assessing, as you're evaluating your progress, can you see, is it that you have actually moved away from your starting point in the direction of your ideal? Well, if you have, then that's a great thing, right? Because now you're going, yes, I'm making some progress. And what I find is that when I'm making progress, even a small progress, that's something I can celebrate, and that's something that motivates and inspire me to keep moving, keep pushing, keep on pushing. Um, so that's the second thing. Share my next slide here. So you also, I would say, is that you have to measure the distance to your goals. And this is, I don't want to say tricky, but look, when you get started, it on your goals initially, I say, hey, measure the progress. You don't want to start measuring the distance from the goal right off the bat. I think, keep working, keep going through that process and evaluating that process. Am I going to the gym 3 or 4 times a week? Am I making those 50 calls a week? Or am I closing that one sale a week, etc.? Once you have gotten halfway between your starting point and your end point, that ideal, I think that's when you start to measure the distance between the distance to your goals. Starting anytime earlier could become quite frustrating, could become quite demotivating. But I think as you're getting closer, you get to the halfway point, you start chipping away at it. Well, I want to save, I don't know, $10,000, and now you're at 5, and you go, yes, and I'm going to add some more to this. I'm at 5,500, I'm at 6,000, etc., etc. You can see how you're closing in on your goals, and you could you'll be inspired to maybe even adjust your plan to speed up the time by which you get your goals. So you have to focus on closing that gap towards your goals. So the fourth idea that I think would help all of us in evaluating, assessing our progress to our goals is that I mentioned the word plan earlier. Review your plan, and you have to review that plan fairly often, right? And so as here we are, the 26th day of January, whatever goals you have set for yourself and whatever that plan is, in the next few days before the end of the month would be a good time to review that plan. You're reviewing your progress, and then you go, wow, is the plan working effectively? Is it not working? Is there a way that I could improve the plan that would help me to achieve these goals even faster? Very important to improve that plan, right? It's very important to look at, what they say is that what gets measured gets managed, or they say that you have to inspect what you expect. And that's why it's important, I believe, to be able to, that you should review the plan frequently. So yeah, those are the 4 points. I did say 4, right? Well, I actually have a bonus. Let me share the bonus thing with you. And it is that you should schedule some time with yourself as well. If you can imagine, picture yourself being, I don't know, your boss, picture yourself being your coach, and you have to have an appointment with that person, and they're going to sit down and they're going to look at everything that you're doing objectively to then figure out what needs to be tweaked. you should schedule some time with yourself, maybe half an hour at the end of the month to review what you have done so far. How do you feel about your activity? And more importantly, how do you feel about the results that you have been getting, right? What you expect, you have to inspect, right? You have to manage. You can only manage the thing that you're really assessing. And so it's really important, I think, to spend time with yourself. If you're really serious about achieving your goals, spend time with yourself and do it, perhaps once a month. Stay on top of it. As I said earlier, I think one of the challenge for all of us is to be able to maintain that same level of intensity and enthusiasm that we started the year with, whether we're setting goals or just New Year's resolution, because we wanted to change our lives throughout this year. You have to find a way to maintain that level of enthusiasm and focus. And one way to do that is by assessing, by evaluating your progress and to be consistent with it. Because again, you will see how you're doing, right? If you are kind of slacking off, you'll know exactly what you need to do to get back on track. And if you are on track, then you're like, wow, it inspires you. And perhaps you'll be able to find a way to even achieve your goals faster than you intended initially. Right? So those are the ideas I wanted to share with you. I'm always excited to spend time with you. I want to encourage you to stop over by my website there, man, devonharris.com. I have a free e-course on goal setting, which also discuss some of these ideas about evaluating and your progress. And there's an ebook as well for only $2.99 that I think you will find quite valuable in your own success journey, setting goals, achieving them, and living the life that you want to live. All right, so feel free to stop over devonharris.com and check these out and the other things that I have to offer on my website. Looking forward to connecting, which should be around next week. Certainly the next time. Until then, you know what you should be doing, right? You know, right? Keep on pushing.